How do pilots navigate and communicate while flying? It is because of reception of radio waves. Radio waves are integral part of aircraft's navigation and communication system. The path traveled by radio wave plays a major role. Let's understand how. So welcome to Air Navigation, and today's video is about what is propagation, factors which affects it, and one of the types of propagation, that is non-ionospheric. Propagation simply means how the radio wave travels through atmosphere. It follows different paths in lowest layer of atmosphere, that is troposphere, or it gets reflected by ionosphere. Propagation path determines if that particular frequency band can be put in either navigation or communication system. It also determines if that particular band will be used for long range or short range navigation or communication. When a radio wave is transmitted, it gets affected by several factors such as attenuation, static interference, fading, receiver sensitivity, and directivity. These factors affects the range and accuracy of the system, so it is important to understand it in details. In troposphere, we have water vapors, dust particles, and other impurities which are always present. When a radio wave travels outward from the transmitter, its energy is absorbed and scattered by all these factors. This absorption causes weakening of radio wave. This is known as attenuation. The absorption effect will increase as frequency increases, which will cause reduction in surface range. Although this rule is not applicable for those radio waves which hits the ionosphere and comes back. Increase in distance between transmitter and receiver will cause attenuation of radio wave. For example, if we have a power output of 10 kilowatts giving us a range of 50 nautical miles. Now, if we increase the distance and new range required is 100 nautical miles, the same power output is insufficient. So according to inverse square law, to double the range, power must be increased by factor of 4. So in this case, the new power output will be 40 kilowatts. There are several factors which gives rise to static electricity. Static affects the clarity and accuracy of navigation and communication systems. Static is greater at lower frequency, and VHF and above, static effect becomes negligible. Although, again, this is not applicable for ionosphere. Whenever a radio wave passes through an ionosphere, some of its energy will be absorbed by ionosphere. So, a returning wave will be weaker. Now, ionosphere can create static effect in VHF and above frequency bands as well. So, VHF and above, the only static source will be from ionosphere. Apart from this, circuitry in receivers and transmitters will also generate static. Whatever is the source of static, we have to keep the static levels to minimum so that we can have the maximum signal strength. Fading occurs whenever a receiver receives signal coming from two different paths. Signal coming in and going out will give rise to fading. In extreme cases, two signals can be antiphase and it will cancel each other out. Some receivers have the ability to process the weaker signal. That means static is kept to a minimum level and signal strength is being utilized really well. This is known as noise cancellation, although it is an expensive process. So next factor is directivity. Energy is being transmitted in all directions, although we want to have it only in one direction. That means rest of the energy is being wasted. So if it is possible to concentrate this energy in one narrow beam, then we can have the longer ranges for the same power output. So signal is now usable in one direction. Although there is disadvantages of directivity, that is, there is some spillage of energy from the sides of the main beam, which we call it as a side lobes. So there are two types of propagation. One is non-ionospheric, that means propagation is confined only in the troposphere, and ionospheric propagation, that means a radio wave will hit the ionosphere and come back. Let's see non-ionospheric propagation. Surface waves and space waves occurs in non-ionospheric or tropospheric propagation. When a radio wave travels outward from a transmitter, it comes in contact with Earth's surface and it bends around the Earth's surface. This bending is known as diffraction. A surface wave in contact with any obstacle in its path will have diffraction and opening of signal. This allows to obtain greater ranges in radio broadcasting. Several factors like frequency, type of surface, and polarization will have effect on surface range. If frequency is lower, then attenuation is lower and surface range will be greater. In case of surface, a transmitter with same power output will give greater ranges over sea, as sea has good electrical conductivity. Over the land, the ranges are comparatively low due to absorption effect. In case of polarization, horizontal polarized wave is attenuated quickly, giving us shorter ranges. Space wave is combination of ground reflected wave and direct wave. At VHF and above, frequencies behave like a visible light. So, these frequencies will be propagated as line of sight, which is an alternate term for space wave. Space wave cannot penetrate through the surface of Earth or through any object which comes in contact with it. Unlike surface wave, it cannot bend around the object, so it is not possible to receive a line of sight range. Maximum ranges are obtained if transmitted wave is tangential to the surface of the Earth. In order to achieve maximum range, it is required to increase the height of transmitter or height of receiver or both. If aircraft is flown below the line of sight range, then it doesn't matter how powerful the transmitter is. Aircraft will receive nothing. So, to receive the line of sight range, aircraft must fly higher. I hope you liked the video. Please like, share and subscribe. Thank you so much.